Hi, this is the president of barbecue, Rob Crowder. Tonight we're making one of my absolute favorites. It's prime rib. Come on over here and let's take a look at this. Prime rib is basically the ribeye with a bone in it. You can see the bone right here. You can see the eye of the ribeye here. And you can see the cap right here. All the components of a ribeye. You can see that the butcher, I asked him to tie it up. You would cut it right through here. You can see the bone here very well. So there's actually 3 bones here. And on this one, there should be 4. 2, 3, 4. 4 bones here. Just a little story about prime rib. Back when the president was in college learning how to be the president, his parents would come down and see William and Mary play football. And we would always go to dinner to a place called the Lafayette. The Lafayette was a restaurant in Williamsburg, right on Richmond Road, and they had the best prime rib you've ever eaten. So what the president has done is tried to sort of emulate what he had then. Lafayette is no longer in business. It was so popular with our family that the first brother and the first sister-in-law had their rehearsal dinner there on the Friday before their Saturday wedding. Back in 1990 or 1991, a long time ago. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the grill going. I'm going to start it at 500 degrees. And I'm going to put these in fat side up, just like this, so the bone will be down toward the hot part. The fat will render through the meat. And for 30 minutes, I'm going to leave them at 500 degrees. You're saying that's pretty high temperature there, Mr. President. It is. But what I'm going to try to do is get almost like a crust on the outside of the prime rib. And after 30 minutes, I'm going to cut it down to 300 degrees. Typically what you'd like to have this is you'd like to serve it around medium, which would be about 140 degrees. Just to sort of give you sort of the range in it. 120 would be rare. 130 would be somewhat rare. Medium would be about 140, and more well done would be 150. I'm going to be in that 140 to 150 range. Also tonight I'm going to make a fresh and a new au jus to go with this. Typically when you cook prime rib, you'll take the drippings of this and actually use that as the base of your au jus. But since I'm actually going to grill this / almost smoke it over a grill, I'm not going to have the renderings to do that, so I'm going to have to make it on my own. With this tonight, we're also going to have a bed of mashed potatoes and also a vegetable medley to go with this. And as an appetizer tonight, the president for the first time has made a Vidalia onion soup. This was a recipe that the first mother gave the president a couple of years ago. It was from a restaurant called the Frog and the Redneck. It was in Richmond, Virginia, and they were known for their Vidalia onion soup. So come on back in a little while. I'll show you some pictures as we're going through the cooking process, and of course we will show you what it looks like at the end. So we have gotten through the first 30 minutes. You can see it has put a beautiful crust all on the meat there. I've just reduced the heat down to 300 degrees. You can see it's starting to work its way down now. And this is going to cook until it gets to about 140 degrees. So come on back in a little while and we'll see what's going on. Hello again, this is Rob Crowder, the president of barbecue. We're putting the final touches on our prime rib dinner right now, and I'm having to make the au jus. If you remember what I talked about earlier is typically the drippings are used in a pan if you're cooking your prime rib in the oven. I cooked mine on a grill, so I didn't have any, so I'm having to sort of make it up as I go. So come on over and take a look at what I'm doing. I've got some red onions here, and I've just sort of sauteed them off in a little bit of oil. You can see that they're sort of crisping up there a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is put in a couple of teaspoons of minced garlic. I'm not going to let this cook too long because garlic, when you cook with it, tends to get a little bitter if you overcook it. So no more than about a minute. I'm just going to sort of play with it a little bit here. Just let it cook for no more than a minute or so. And again, what this is au jus means with juice. Prime rib is typically served with that. The other thing that I am going to offer to the people is you can stir a little bit of horseradish right into your au jus to make it a little bit more spicy. I like it that way, and that's how I'm going to do mine. Let me give this another little quick stir here. And what I'm going to do is I have a little bit of wine. This is no more than a quarter cup. And all I'm going to really do with this is sort of glaze the bottom of the pan. Any of the crispies that came off of the onion, I want those in my sauce. Let that cook just for a minute. Just to let it sort of render down a little bit, not too much. And I definitely, I'm going to cook the alcohol out of it because that's what happens when you do glaze. The recipe that you're going to see tonight is this exact one. I've doubled up the original one. This is some Worcestershire sauce. It's about 2 tablespoons. Let's stir all this up. And again, this is trying to recreate the drippings in the bottom of the pan if you cook it in the oven. I'm going to let that just sort of marry up a little bit. I can't tell you how good it smells. The combination of the Worcestershire sauce, the onions and the garlic, it's just a great smell. And then finally what I'm going to do is put in about 4 cups of beef broth. This is going to be the base of the au jus. Let me just stir and get everything going. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this come to a boil. And after I let it come to a boil, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of flour in it to thicken it up. But before I do that, I am going to strain for the onions. In an au jus, you rarely see any onions in it. I'm going to strain that out before I put the flour in. And this is going to get a little thicker, but it's still going to be pretty loose. The other thing I wanted to show you is our Creme of Vidalia onion soup. As you can see, it is absolutely gorgeous. And how I'm going to serve this is going to be in a cup for each person. You can see it, and it tastes so much better than it looks. I'm going to serve this with a couple of croutons right on top as their appetizer. So come on back in a few minutes. We'll start plating it, and we'll show you what this meal looks like. Here we are, the final product. Voila! Prime rib on a bed of mashed potatoes with a vegetable medley. The appetizer is a Creme of Vidalia onion soup and some homemade au jus to go on prime rib. This is the President of Barbecue, Rob Crowder. Please come back and watch more videos.